Today we'll be going through a character build for the Dominatrix, a character designed to manipulate friends and foes, as well as make good coin from her side business. Hi, I'm Yovel, and I'll be going through the core features of the build and discuss the decisions why they were chosen. We are starting with a halfling of the Chelaxian heritage who was able to escape slavery and start a new life in Absalon. She is a twilight halfling who developed better vision to work and demonstrate her ability in the night or dimly lit rooms. The first level feat is Watchful Halfling. This feat is useful for the Dominatrix as it allows them to understand her patron's needs and for those who enjoy a little bit of resistance. The 5th level feat is Innocuous, as a Dominatrix is a unique job, and there are those who think they can humiliate a Dominatrix in her own game. Also, it helps with business for those clients who want to be dominated by someone sweet and innocent appearing. At 9th level, we have gone with Irrepressible. Rapport grows with clients, but for the Dominatrix, business is business, no matter how much pleasure is mixed into it, and Irrepressible helps draw that line. The background is Entertainer. The Dominatrix was trained in entertaining patrons and letting them experience their full desire within a safe environment. Initial visits start with a consultation of services and fees to identify if she can provide what the patrons desire or if a more experienced Lady of the Night is required. The place where she was trained was within the chapels of Callistria. Focusing on the portfolio of lust, the Dominatrix serves as a consort for those who are willing to pay for a fantasy. She embodies her deity's aspect by using a whip in combat, though when opportunities rise to take vengeance on Cheliax and her history of slavery, the Dominatrix is always happy to do extra services. The class we are using for the Dominatrix is the Bard, a class proficient with using their charisma to influence people's mind and use occult spells to meet her clients' desires. We have gone with the Maestro Muse, allowing the Dominatrix to inspire her clients to do her bidding, whether in combat or with menial tasks. Soothe is always a good way to treat clients from their whipping at the end of sessions, as it calms them down, especially after experiencing a lustful high. The skills a Dominatrix employs in her everyday work includes deception. Some clients like to be manipulated and submit control to others as a means of freedom from their life and stress. Diplomacy allows a Dominatrix to convince her patrons that her requests are reasonable and to keep them wanting more. Performance are for those patrons who enjoy a bit of role-playing, whether it's humiliation or power play. We are now moving on to equipment. The whip is a Dominatrix's preferred weapon as it allows her to deal non-lethal damage to her clients and subsequently knocking them out when it gets too much. We are going with studded leather armor to help protect the Dominatrix in combat, especially when enemies figure out that she is the one leading and commanding her followers. The Glamoured rune will be useful for the Dominatrix as it allows her to wear her studded leather armor everywhere, but it also allows her to change her appearance to meet her patron's desires, whether it is noble finery or tight latex. In terms of wondrous items, we are going with the following 3. The Persona mask is useful for roleplay and performing, as the mask can change into rendition for those clients who pay more for the service. The Ventriloquist ring is useful for those bratty patrons who enjoy being punished when they are caught. This allows the Dominatrix to catch those patrons out by surprise, pushing the limit as usual. Cloak of Repute is good for those initial consultations, as it helps give the Dominatrix more power with negotiating services and fees with her patrons. If they know who she is and her reputation, they are more inclined to pay those fees. Now we are going to go through all the spells ideal for the Dominatrix. Charm allows the Dominatrix to diffuse situations, or if she needs to sweet talk someone into helping her. This is one of our signature spells, as at higher levels, the duration increases, allowing the unfortunate individual to be a willing slave for the Dominatrix. Command is a more direct version of Charm and is used in changing the tide of combat or weaken the other's position. Ray of Enfeeblement helps in both combat and work. Is there an annoying fool who thinks they are on top of the world? We'll put them in their place with a Ray of Enfeeblement. For those clients who like to lose sense of control, turning them deaf is one of the services the Dominatrix can offer. Of course, when the service is over, they will need to have their senses restored, and as such, she can charge more for visits from her spellcasting fees. For those patrons who enjoy a good yap or won't shut up, whether by being bratty in nature or just by their own accord, silence can help the Dominatrix gain a brief moment of respite.
Oh, come on!
Blindness is one of the other sensory deprivation services the Dominatrix can offer. Did you know that once you become blind, your other senses such as hearing, touch, and pain become more sensitive? Enthrall is a useful spell if the Dominatrix wants to advertise her services. It will capture those who deep in their heart want to enter Callistra's chapels and lose all sense of control. Paralyze is for those who enjoy losing control of their own physical functions and feeling helpless or in situations where unsavory individuals want to ask you for your time. Discern lies helps with knowing who are earnest and truthful and to identify those who wish to cause harm on the Dominatrix. On the flip side, glibness allows the Dominatrix to mix truth and deception together to spin tales and stories convincing people what they want to hear. Suggestion is a combination of command and charm where the person is compelled to do something that the Dominatrix has said. Unlike charm, where the individual can still interpret the request, and command, where they must complete the action before the spell wears off, suggestion focuses on completing tasks for longer periods of time. This in turn can waste enemy actions if the task is complex and menial. Black Tentacles would be one of the Dominatrix's signature moves, especially with patrons who want to be bound, wrapped, and choked to experience natural highs. For those who aren't patrons of the Dominatrix, she can use this to distract foes and constrain choke points. Synesthesia allows a Dominatrix to change the sensation during sessions where blindness and deafen no longer meet the patron's demands. In combat, it can debilitate any foe, whether it is increased difficulty with spellcasting, attacks, or general mobility. Dominate is an improved version of command where depending on their level of failure can turn someone into a willing puppet for long periods of time. Unlike suggestion, where they only follow the request and the spell ends, Dominate keeps people under the control of the Dominatrix's every whim. Feeble Mind are for those who think they are too intellectually smart for the Dominatrix or want to be transformed into something lesser like animals. Overwhelming Presence is the ultimate spell for the Dominatrix, making those who are in view of her splendor to worship the very ground she is standing on. For the Dominatrix, it would be appropriate for the tributes to be prostrating on the ground before her. On to the feats for the Dominatrix Bard. All bards can inspire courage as a cantrip. In the case of the Dominatrix, if she were to go into combat, she would get her patrons and servants to do all the fighting while she encourages them to do their best or be punished if they failed to meet her standards. Her second level feat is Inspire Competence. Similar to Inspire Courage, Inspire Competence will boost the effectiveness of her servant's skills. The fourth level feat is Triple Time, allowing the Dominatrix to make her followers move faster, whether it is to get a job done or to get her a glass of wine for a parched throat. Dirge of Doom is the 6th level feat. The Dominatrix demonstrates her abilities, reducing the effectiveness of foes to allow her cronies to make quick work of them. In addition, the opponents remain at Frighten 1 while within the area of effect unless they are immune to the condition. Harmonize is the 8th level feat chosen for the Dominatrix. This allows her to combine compositions together. Primarily, she'll go with Inspire Courage and Dirge of Doom to change the flow of combat. And lastly, House of Imaginary Walls at level 10. Creating walls allowed the Dominatrix to stay in control and prevent unsavory people from touching her without permission. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, leave a like and subscribe. Also comment your thoughts on the Dominatrix below. Till next time.